Yo, 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 welcome to another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. I'm your boy Tactix. It's
This
just
is Big
Darcy.
Geek Umar. Even without Darcy, we still fuck up.
No, that was intentional, bro.
So
Shout out to Darcy. He'll be joining us a little bit later. He's running a little bit late. Hello.
Yeah.
Hello.
Nope. Sorry, I lost you for a sec.
Oh, okay. No, I'm good. I'm here. What is going on, everybody? This is a rough start, man.
This is a rough start. See, this is what we're like when we lose a member of our team. We just like everything's. We already have rough starts, and then it's like take that up a notch.
Fair enough. But yeah, tell us what is on the agenda for today, Umar.
Okay, so we are going to start off with a unique way and in no way are we trying to cover for the fact that Darcy needs to be part for our agenda. So instead, we are going to discuss something that we've been doing a little bit of late, and that is called the Buffy the Vampire Slayer touch bases, and that features you, Mr. Tactics. So
yeah, okay.
just for those who are unaware, Tactics has been rewatching Avatar: The Last Airbender. Sorry, Avatar: The Last Airbender. Clearly, I watched something
we are really off our game today, bro.
1 week off, and all of a sudden everything goes out the door.
Oh,
No, sorry.
man.
We are Tactics is rewatching Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and we kind of want to see where Tactics is. Again, I'm fucking up. Oh my god. Anyway, so Tactics has done 2 of these so far. One at the the first season of Buffy, which let's just say that he wasn't a fan of, and then shortly
It's just
after.
so fucking corny, bro. Like it's a hard watch. It's really a hard watch, and I realized that I did not see a lot of the episodes from season 1. Like back in the day, I mean.
Yeah, and then afterwards, Tactics, things started looking better. Once he got to season 4, he had gotten through like the best of things,
Yep.
and
yep.
now we are catching up with him, and we need to know Tactics. How are things going in the Buffyverse?
So it definitely season 2 was definitely its strongest, and it kind of had its ups and downs as the series progressed. I like moments from certain seasons. Some of the like a lot of the stuff with Faith was really cool, but I believe that was in the season 2. And then she came back. Season 3, yeah, sorry, my mistake. She came back,
In season
and
4.
then in season 4, so like that stuff was cool. The Dark Willow stuff was really cool as well. I really liked what they did there. I liked the setup, the build up to that, and Willow just kind of going off the rails and how they approached it from like an addiction standpoint. Like I found that very compelling. I really fell for her. And
So you're in season 6 then?
no, I'm in the final season now. I finished Dark Willow, like that whole thing. So here's the point that I got to where it kind of just shifted gears for me. Hold on, let me reset this for a second. I'm just gonna show you an image. Excuse those who are a little bit squeamish when it comes to this kind of stuff. This turned my stomach, and give me a moment here.
For those listening,
For those listening, you're gonna have to check the YouTube channel to see what I'm talking about. But this fucking scene here, bro.
Okay, yeah, this needed a disclaimer. We are going to be talking about some.
Oh my gosh, bro. I know you were very adamant about what's up, London Cream. I know you were very adamant about, or you were very vocal rather, about your disdain for the Buffy and Spike relationship. You did not like it at all, but you gave no context. So I was kind of like, okay, I don't. Prior to this episode, I'm like, I don't hate it. I mean, it's no Buffy and Angel, that's for damn sure. But I did kind of enjoy the turn of events that took place with Spike and his whole, like, you know, he starts off evil and then he kind of goes good, but he's conflicted because now he's got this chip in his head. I found that to be kind of interesting. I was digging that. And then he kind of got really super fucking aggressive. And I'm not talking about this scene. We'll get to that in a second. But
Yeah.
he just became very needy. And it was just kind of like, okay, this is not really a good look. But he was like borderline teetering on the edge of like, okay, this is getting kind of like a little intense
Creepy.
for me, a little creepy in a lot of ways. And so I was watching it a little bit more, and then it got to this point, and I was like, okay, they actually kind of took it there. Hold on, I gotta kick some dude out for a second. Block. All right.
Thank you.
So it got to this scene, and I was like, wow. Like I was not, and what really triggered me, or what kind of really impacted me, or why this episode was so impactful, is because throughout the entire series, like minus a couple episodes here and there, Buffy, what the fuck is going on today? People
We're
just on
being
some racist
botted.
shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, London.
Yeah,
King.
minus a couple of episodes here and there, it was I never saw Buffy depicted in a way where like she was like weaker than somebody else. You know what I mean?
Or
And like
vulnerable.
or vulnerable, right? Like the only episode that I can really recall where that was shown or depicted was the one where she was stripped away of her powers and she had to fend for herself, powerless, right? And then this
Helpless.
kind of helpless, right? And this was even more so, and she has her powers here, but
Yeah.
I felt like she felt more helpless here than she did when she was stripped away of her powers, and that was very unsettling for me to watch. And I don't like watching like I don't think anyone does really, unless you're sick and
Oh no, no,
twisted. But I don't like
there,
watching.
there, yeah, yeah.
Fair,
We should
yeah.
probably change this image as like this is like a trigger warning for people.
Yeah, good call. But yeah, this one was a hard watch for me.
I was not happy with this. I remember my sister and I were watching Buffy together at that time, and like we had heard that this happened, and we're
Yeah.
like, they filmed that, so like we were watching that. Like we came in that week with like utter dread of where this was going to go,
Yeah.
and then it happened, and we're like, okay, that was completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
And I can see the need to kind of talk about it, but you didn't need to have it done. But it does. Like, the thing is, I haven't really gone back to the episode since the initial airing, so I don't know whether it was part of like the ending arc that you were describing of how they're showing Spike's relationship with Buffy like deteriorating.
Yeah.
So like maybe they're trying to make a statement of like these are how these type of guys are, and you need to be watched out for. And like even though like it can happen even with someone who doesn't intend to be like malicious and evil, but it's like at the same time, like I don't know, it just I was not a big fan of that choice of direction of the narrative.
I mean, so as edgy and unsettling as it was, I'm kind of glad that they took it there, just because I feel like some of that stuff has to be shown in this kind of format just to kind of bring light to the fact that this shit does happen. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like,
And that way.
in that way, and in the depiction of a woman who is predominantly portrayed as a woman of power is pretty much stripped away of that from a dominating, aggressive male man, essentially, right? Like I think that's something that needs to be displayed because and it tugs on a lot of heartstrings, and it shows the realism, you know, given the fantastical world that it's built around, right? But it shows the realism of like this shit actually happens, right? The same thing with Willow and her addiction. Like obviously it's like in a different context, that her being
Right.
addicted to black magic, but people go through addictions all the time when it comes to trauma, and like that, like going off the rails like that, and then
A slippery
after
slope sort of thing.
yeah, after suffering a loss. I think I liked the writing in that sense because it highlighted a lot of realism, and it kind of reminded me of WandaVision in the fact of like how they managed to tie in grief to a fantastical storyline like that, which I really appreciated.
Oh, okay. So I liked what you had to say about Xander.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So the thing that I brought up about Zan. Okay. So for everyone watching, so when I was watching, when I first got into Buffy, not the first time I watched it, but like my revisitation of it, I remember messaging Umar and saying, "Yo, I do not like Xander." And I don't remember ever hating the character, but I really hated him in season 1. And then like he just kind of progressively got worse. And then the shit that he did, I was gonna say her real name, Charisma Carpenter. Cordelia. He did her dirty. He did her so dirty, yo.
He did Anya dirty too.
He did do Anya dirty. But yeah, so we have to talk about that because we had a little bit of debate about the whole situation of him, about him walking. But anyway, okay, we'll get to that. So I hated Xander up until the moment that we're just talking about with Spike. Because I'm like, if you look at if you survey all the other guys that are in this show, Xander is probably like the top. He's probably the most like chill dude in comparison to all these other guys. Because you have Spike, who's pretty much tried to rape Buffy. You have Riley, who's been a whiny bitch, understandably so. But he's dude. Like he needs to just go sit down somewhere. And then you got who else is there? There's another. Angel. Okay, so Angel, I got no beef with him. Angel was fine, except for in season 1 where he just kind of showed up randomly and he was just like, "Buffy, you're gonna be in danger," and then he just leave. I'm like, "Yo, we need a little more information, but like, don't just say, yo, watch your back." What am I watching for? Like, what like, can you be less cryptic? So that pissed me off. But then he got pretty cool afterwards. Yeah. And then who else is there? Giles is cool. I got no issues with Giles. Oz
was
the
definition of cool.
Yeah, Oz was cool. I had no issues with him. But then he left, so it was kind of like, you know what I mean? So, oh wait, we got Darcy in the house now. What up?
Yo, what is good, my homies?
What's going on, bro?
I got my second shot of vaccine today. I think they lied and gave me AstraZeneca because I can't tell time anymore. I'm messing with y'all. I got Pfizer.
You got it today?
Yeah, I got earlier today. So if I passed out in the middle of this podcast, I'm just saying.
It's just
yeah, I was like, I'll be like back when what was like Deuce Bigelow, like when you date the narcoleptic.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But all I came in on was so this guy nearly raped Buffy. I was like, whoa. What are we talking about?
Yeah. So shit got a little intense.
Yeah. We also had a racist bot come after us, but we got our boy London Cream reporting them and Tactix deleted them. Ron, our homegirl Ron came back. She's like, I think that people didn't talk about abuse and still don't talk about abuse, that it happens and can happen to anyone. That's essentially what you were saying.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I think, as like I said, as uneasy as it is to see it depicted in TV shows, especially when you're not expecting it, I think it's important to highlight the fact that this thing actually happens. And sometimes, so part of the reason why people love movies or they watch movies and TV shows is it's an escapism from reality, right? So when you do things like this, where you you have that escapism, but every now and then you sprinkle in an episode that like touches on some real shit, it's like, oh, okay, I meant to escape from this shit, but I can't really. I gotta address this. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's important that you sprinkle that shit in every now and then. It's the same thing, like I said, with WandaVision, how they highlighted the whole aspect of grief in that fantastical way, where it's like you're still escaping from your reality and you're embedded in this world, but there's still kind of emphasizing things that actually happen in real life. And which is why Marvel, I think, has been doing so well, because they still touch on a lot of like things that we deal with in today's society.
So going back to your Xander comment,
so Xander's just the most chill out of all of it. He's the most, I guess, the most wholesome. He's still kind of, I mean, like, he's Xander.
Like the worst. So out of all of Buffy's significant other, not even that, because like we're talking about the men on the show, so like Oz is the definition of chill, and our homegirl Ron loves him. Giles is like a dad figure. Wesley was in it for one season, but he was kind of like useless.
Wesley is whack as shit, yo. He is so whack. I don't know. I don't like Wesley at all.
He gets so much better in Angel, you won't even believe.
Okay.
Angel,
well, he's whack.
Yeah, Angel can be kind of a good and bad force. Mm-hmm. He also like broke her heart. Riley's a bit whiny bitch, an emasculated whiny bitch. And Spike.
Warren was the other guy. The Warren, he got what he deserved when he got skinned out.
Fuck
like
Warren.
yo, like that
Warren.
dude. Fuck him. But yeah, I don't want to harp on this too much because I want to start talking about stuff that Darcy can also join in on. But
I mean, I can join in on the whiny B part. You know, I don't feel like saying it right now. and by the way, I see those comments. Benjamin Franklin be out here tripping.
Oh, you actually saw them? Okay, yeah, yo, bro, both of them, man. There is another dude, Thomas Jefferson. Which is a fucking what? Like the irony of that.
Yeah. I know that. I think that's the greatest thing that the bot could think of. Let me call one thing and say the opposite.
Yeah.
All right. So any last thoughts before we move off of this T about Buffy?
We still have to have
episode so far.
The musical episode, hands down. And I'm not even big on musicals, but that episode was great. I love that episode.
That was a dope episode. But now that Darcy's here, we can talk about the debate question.
Before we jump into that, I just gotta say I always hate this man's white hair in this show, especially for how tanned he is. I'm seeing it right now, and he looks like a bad knockoff version of like the Russian from like Rocky series. Like he's just like, or like what you think Russians look like during that era. Like it's just like no.
I would like to.
Darcy, do you remember Xander and Anya?
I have Google, so give me a second. No, I don't.
Never mind. All right, T, do you want to describe the question?
Okay, so the situation was Xander is dating this demon chick named Anya, ex-demon, sorry. And on their wedding day, Xander, his future self comes back from the future to the past, or to the present day when they're about to get married, and convinces Xander not to go through with it and shows him the potential future of their marriage and how it all unfolds. And it ends with Xander seeing a vision of him arguing with Anya. They have kids, they're living together, obviously they're married, all that shit. They get into an argument and Xander snaps and attacks Anya with a frying pan. But you don't get to see the aftermath of it. Like, did he kill her? Like, we don't know. And so this kind of creates like fear in Xander, present day Xander, and he ends up leaving. He ends up walking out on the wedding. So he basically doesn't go through with it.
Yeah, I should make a caveat that it turned out to be a demon who's faking to be Xander, and was doing that to mess with Anya because they had some like old rivalry. But like nonetheless, Xander still was like, no, that was too real. The wedding's off.
Yeah, okay. And so they ended up obviously breaking up as a result of it, and then he was trying to patch things up with her afterwards. Like she'd run off for a bit, and then a couple episodes later they reconnected, but she was still so angry, and she's basically a vengeance demon. So part of her whole MO is that she helps women exact vengeance on the guys that did them wrong, basically, right? But in this case, she wants that for herself. She wants to get vengeance on Xander and inflict like a world of pain on him, right? And so she can't initiate that herself. She has to get someone else to wish it for her. And so she's trying to convince all of like the gang, like Buffy and like everyone else in the gang to wish that Xander gets like hurt or whatever. And obviously they don't do it because they love Xander. And so she's confiding in Spike, who hates Xander. So she thinks, oh, this is a perfect opportunity. I can just convince Spike to try and wish for Xander to get hurt or whatever the case may be. And so they're drinking as they're kind of exchanging dialogue, and she gets drunk and she ends up sleeping with Spike. And in the midst of all this, the main villain of the show, they had these security cameras set up all over Sunnydale, and basically Xander was able to kind of view the footage of Anya and Spike having sex. And so that was like the worst form of pain. Like, she was intending to inflict physical pain, but she ended up unintentionally inflicting emotional pain because he ended up witnessing his ex-fiance sleeping with the guy that he loathes, right? So he goes and he confronts them, tries to kill Spike. They have their little fight or whatever. Nothing ends up happening as a result of that. And then Xander gets all pissed off, storms out, and basically berates Anya for what she did. And she basically counters that by saying, well, you walked out on our wedding day. And so my thing was, I understand it from both sides. I don't think that Xander was being irrational in what he witnessed. I'm not condoning what he did. Obviously, you know, it's fucked up that he walked out on the wedding. But if your future self that you perceived as something that was real, because of, like, you're dealing on a regular basis, you're dealing with demons and like vampires and all this shit. Like, so it's not out of the ordinary for a person from the future to come show up and say, yo, your marriage is going to be doomed if you go through with this, so don't go through with it. I'm going to kind of take that as gospel and be like, okay, maybe this is not a good idea. And it's good. And like, getting married, I'm sure, is nerve-wracking enough, right? It's a big stepping stone in your life, right? Sorry to say that, ladies, but it is, right? And, you know, so obviously you're already going to have a certain set of nerves associated with that on a normal level. Then you got a motherfucker that is pretty much you from the future that comes in and says, yo, don't go through with this, bro. And you're like, okay, maybe I shouldn't. And you walk the fuck off, right?
Okay, fair,
not the best thing.
But he knew, he found out later that it was false, and he still canceled the wedding.
So hold up. I just need to double check something here. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is the question?
Okay, but So the question is, I was getting there. So the question is, do you think that Xander was irrational in how he felt? Like, basically he was upset at the fact that he saw Anya and Spike having sex.
That's bullshit.
They're no longer together. Like, they're technically not together. They separated. He was trying to make amends, and she just wanted to hurt him the way he hurt her by walking out on the wedding. And when he saw them having sex, he was heartbroken, and so he got angry about it. And he's like, "This is how you get back at me, by sleeping with a guy that you know that I hate." So you're in that same situation, Darcy. Are you gonna be all coy and chill about it and be like, "Oh, okay, I understand, because I walked out on you. You're just gonna sleep with the guy that I don't like. I totally understand. We're now even. Let's move past this." Or are you gonna react rather angrily?
Okay.
You know, like,
okay. My issue with this situation is not the fact that he got angry. My issue is that people justify that he had the right to be upset. He didn't have it's understandable and natural to be upset with the fact that someone you obviously, like your ex, hooking up with someone you hate. Fair enough, you're gonna have emotions about it, but he don't have no right to say anything.
I know. But I never said he had a right. You never. But you're not. So when it comes to your emotions are neither right nor wrong. But they're just. It's just a form of energy, and like obvious. So I understand him being upset in that situation.
Yes, but he doesn't have a leg to stand on, and she can like sleep whoever she wants to, because like she
but that's a dick. But that's a dick move. Both of them did. Yeah, I understand that, but it's like, if you love someone, are you gonna what? So it's an eye for an eye now? Is that what you're saying? Like, yeah, please chime in on this, bro. Please chime in, like, cause I'm getting worked up now, bro.
First off, I just want to make sure I recap what I heard after the last 15 minutes. So, guy gets a fake person from the future, shows, oh, you're gonna beat your future wife. Don't. get into that relationship. So you break it
Correct.
off, and then later on you see your ex sleep with your enemy, and you're pissed off about it. That's the
Yes.
simplest way to understand this. Okay, there's a lot
Right.
of everything else. I get it, but that's the simplest thing. Okay, so I have two things that conflict for me with this kind of situation. One is I believe in your own fate, and I also like. I'm going to steal from the movie, the Tomorrow War. If you see your future, as in the father in that movie talking to his future daughter and hearing about how things went bad, make a choice to be different, right? If you know that you actually could go down a path where you do something you disagree with, then be consciously aware of it and still decide. Like, if you don't love the person, okay, but if you love the person, you're like, oh man, a future version of me went there. Okay, maybe I should start dealing with something now.
But he also
Yeah,
found out that was a false.
I
It
know it
wasn't.
was a false, but what I mean, when you had that presented to you,
Gotcha.
he let it direct him. Right.
Yes.
And then revealing it was a false is part of the pain. Like, that's part of delivering the pain. So the thing is your reaction to that information, you at that moment, you could be like, is this real or is this fake? Right. Like, you still can be skeptical about it. But regardless, you go, is that actually in me? Okay. Do I have something I need to deal with? Do I have repressed shit I gotta get out of my way? Because now I have a window of time to avoid a problem. Like, you actually now know. So first off, unless I didn't love the person, I would just start fixing me. Okay, that's first off. No, second off, this is gonna be interesting. Okay, second off, yeah. Okay, I actually had this scenario, the second part, nearly replicated in my life. So I'll tell you what I did. Okay, so I had a woman in college I was dating for a period of time, right? And I ran this nonprofit organization thing, and she was into another guy in the team who was always acting like he was my buddy, but I didn't really like him. And I could tell that they were into each other. But let's be honest here. I was a little bitch at the time, okay? So I let my emotions get the better of me, and I stuck with her when I should just cut it, right? You know, I was like, oh, let me try to make it work. Oh, you know, let me try to keep, like, she was not into it, so like I should have cut my losses a lot earlier than the 11 months we were together, you know, kind of deal. And so after we broke up, it was like just before the summer. And then come the next school year, because I had connection to this organization, I went to attend this event where we had to all go on a bus and go to Toronto and come back to Kingston. So it's like a 2-hour event. And they were all close and not like totally disregard for me and my emotions. So at the time when I went into this, I'm like, I knew that they were going to get together, and I knew I was going to see them there. And I knew that, like, you know, okay, cool. They might do something off on the side. And I knew, like, I have no right to say anything to them in this situation because of their choice. But then they threw that shit in my fucking face, and had no regard for me. So afterwards, I pulled her aside and I was like, I get that you want to be together, and I still to this day will not believe that you didn't cheat on me, even though you said you didn't. I don't care, but you threw it in my face. Like, you disregarded me as a human on that bus. Everybody knew that we dated 3 months ago, and now you go be all kissy in front of those same people and be that disrespectful. Like, you just being straight up disrespectful as a person.
The audacity. That's what I'm saying, bro.
The audacity was real. So I threw it out there. That's the last time we ever talked.
Facts, bro. Facts. Preach it, bro.
Catch this grenade. Peace, y'all. When I walked away, bro, it was one of those, like, catch this grenade. And I left, and I was like, we ain't gonna speak again. That's how that is.
Facts.
Yeah. So in a very close and similar situation for me, I agree that you don't have a right to say certain things, but I feel like I would say something. But at least I would approach it being like, are you doing this to hurt me? And they say, no, this is just what happened. I would be like, okay. And if I don't believe them, I'm like, I don't believe you, but I'll leave it there. Like, I won't fight over it. I would just, like, if you meant to hurt me with this, Like, why? You know?
Because the thing
And
is, like,
Anya was trying to hurt Xander. She was physically trying to inflict pain on this motherfucker.
Honestly, like, okay, so going back to that particular statement, I don't think in that moment when she slept with Spike was purposely meant to hurt him. I think that was her in pain, looking at.
But
someone
she had,
who's in pain.
yeah, but she had the intention, bro. I agree with you. She didn't intend to do it that way, but the intention to inflict pain was there.
But that was out of anger. That's why I don't think this is a dick move on her part. Because yeah, if for example she got Spike and like did him in Xander's bed and then like left all like the cum all over to kind of like get him to sleep into it. Yo, I'll be like, that was like, completely unnecessary.
I know.
Yeah, that comment was completely unnecessary, bro.
Yeah, like it's like he's gonna get into like, yeah, so and you left like a CSI scene. You know, like go ahead and like take the blue light and look for all the ejaculation. Oh, man. All right, go on.
But honestly, I felt that in that moment, that was someone who was deeply hurt, who wasn't actually thinking of him, and was more thinking about her own pain and wanting to have someone close, literally anyone close to help fill that void. That's why I don't think that she didn't do anything. I don't think she did anything wrong. Like, so she was like.
You said, you know, the funny thing is, her thinking about her own pain in either scenario is exactly the same thing. When people do things to hurt people or do things selfishly without thinking of other people, they're both in both scenarios only thinking about themselves.
And that's exactly what happened with both of them.
But
she was doing it out of pain. He was doing it out of fear. Those are both charged emotions that they were governed by.
But the difference is he hurt her and also ended things with her. She was single and completely able to mingle whatever she wanted to.
But he did that out of fear. He was emotionally charged.
He still did it, and also it's
still she still slept with Spike.
But at the same time, that at that moment, her reason for doing it wasn't about him. It was about her own pain for her own life. He wasn't connected to her anymore because they weren't together.
But what was the intention? What was her initial intention that led to her sleeping with Spike?
That initial intention was for a different action. She wanted him physically hurt, and she.
It doesn't matter. The fact that it led to that, it's her own doing. If she wasn't emotionally charged, then that would have never been an issue. She wouldn't have slept with Spike. But she would have just moved on.
Oh, we are getting some comments. Hold on one second. So London Cream is saying, is that all it took for someone to do that petty stuff, i.e. want to hurt him? That's not someone you need when times get hard. Okay, yeah, that's a fair statement. Facts. I don't want love. I want loyalty. Nipsey Hussey or hustle.
Nipsey Hustle. Oh no, please, someone, no. We're
gonna edit that out. We're gonna edit it out. Don't worry.
Sorry. It was the angle of the light. Sorry, like this thing is throwing me off.
Angle of the light.
I'm scared of reading his last comment. Someone else read that.
People doing wild stuff to people they love, yet loyal folks' actions show love.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
People don't really love the people that they do wild stuff to. The people who actually show loyalty really actually have love.
I didn't mean it that way.
Umar be violating. Yo, I'm gonna have to send you a Nipsey Hussle playlist.
I will gladly listen to it. But,
all I can say is that it's a dick move on both their parts. Like if a girl ever did that to me, that's a level of disrespect that I like Darcy said, I can't get behind that, man. Like that's the audacity for someone to do that, especially when they know that I don't like. If it was just a random person that they met and they did, then fine, yeah, it's all fair game. I don't know this person, so yeah, you moved on. It's gonna hurt, but then I really don't have a right to react in the way that Xander did. But if you do that with somebody that you know I do not like, then that's a level of disrespect that I just can't come back from.
Okay, so
or that they can't come back from.
She didn't know that she was being filmed. Like, if, for example, she filmed it and
that doesn't matter. That does not matter. It's the fact that you got caught. It's like saying like, oh, like just because you didn't see me cheating doesn't mean that it didn't exist.
Umar, didn't you go to law school, bro?
I honestly, this is a multi-level thing because like I honestly feel that like her doing something on her own when it's private, and also her doing it out of like pain over loss, and it's not, oddly enough, it wasn't done maliciously. I don't believe it was done maliciously. Everything else she was doing in the episode was meant maliciously, but the one thing that actually hurt him, and he found out like inadvertently, was not done maliciously. It was done for her own.
Bro, but you can't be so lax about something like that, because then you got to be lax about, oh yeah, just like you cheated a little bit, you know what I mean? So it's like I didn't do, but it doesn't. Okay, but it's the same kind of principle, because it's like you can make the same argument where it's like I didn't do it maliciously. I was drunk. I felt bad because we had a previous argument. So I was impaired.
Hold up. I gotta say something. Okay, Umar. No, when it comes down to, and this is gonna pull from all the HR training we gotta do in these corporate jobs and stuff, but like, when they talk about it's not about the intention, it's about how it's perceived, right? So what this comes down to is like, it doesn't matter if you didn't mean to hit somebody with your car. If you hit them with your car, then there is a consequence to it. Mm-hmm. You can't pretend like sleeping with your ex's enemy won't have an effect on them. Even if you're doing it for yourself, you have to be aware that it's going to impact that person. And honestly, if I really care and loved somebody, even when we're done, I would have a sense of loyalty to not disrespect them. Right now, I could say, oh, but it was for me. I needed this, or oh, the person made me feel this way. Oh, I didn't mean to. But I'm not stupid enough to think that like that won't have an impact. That won't have consequences. Doesn't matter if I didn't mean to afflict them. Don't be a fucking dumbass. It's going to cause pain. Period. It's going to happen. You can. How could you be so dumb to be like, oh, I was with somebody, I love them, but I had no idea that sleeping with the person I didn't like was going to hurt them. I don't know how I put these things together.
Honestly, I find it to be like and to a certain level, that is me giving it's completely, because the thing is that they're broken up. They're not together, and they're not getting back together. And also, this is someone who's been deeply hurt and is looking for their own kind of like something to help fill the void that they're left with, to then put an expectation on them that they cannot have any kind of solace, even from someone that the guy who hurt them hates. That I find to be is rather unfair, because
so you don't think there's anything wrong with that. You don't think there's nothing wrong with that at all. Honestly, I do completely understand that it would, like, if I was in that situation, if I was Xander, I'd be like, okay, I definitely hurt her, so I don't have a right to say it, be upset about it. I am upset because my emotions, obviously, I hate that guy and she slept with him. But I can see people, and I have seen people who don't do it for this. Like, that person's not even in the picture. It's just them. London Cream said Darcy got that second jab energy. I think you're lying, bro. I think if given the situation and you were in this exact same scenario, you would not be cool with that. Either that or you're cut from a different cloth. Because honestly,
I will agree that I won't be happy about it. But I would also believe that I don't have a right to say anything.
But that's not the argument. We're not saying that you don't have a right. We're just saying that they both fucked up, and it's like you're defending her actions.
I would actually,
but then that's counterproductive. That's counterintuitive to what you're saying.
The emotional reaction is understandable, but I do not believe she had the expectation to not do it. Because we're all done.
Huh?
So she
if you love somebody, regardless of what happens, like if you love somebody, is that the right thing to do to somebody that you were about to get married to? And a hush goes over the crowd.
Yo, I'm just starting to think that these two, it's like if you were so deep with each other that you were gonna get married, and then when things break off, y'all just like
Yeah. Then how
they fucked off on both on easy fucking reasons.
Yeah, but one person really hurt the other person.
How do you okay, but how do you compare the two? You're like they both hurt each other. It's not. They both hurt each other.
He hurt her with the, but he did it like as you said out of fear. I don't know. Honestly,
bro, like honestly, whenever I've been hurt, I've been through I've done a lot of dating. Okay, and I've also done a lot of like not dating.
Playa.
But to make that point, as in, I have experience in the realm of dating. But what I'm getting at here is I've had my fair share of experiences of being hurt. Okay, and I've always found that the best course of action after this stuff goes down, cut and dry, separate yourself from the pack. Like just get away from this, right? There's nothing good having sticking around and all the friends and all that kind of stuff. You just gotta separate yourself and move yourself onto a new path and don't worry about nobody and nothing. And the thing is with all of this, it's like no, it's all too close to home. Okay, it's bad. It's just foolish.
All right, we should probably move on. But like for the audience, what do you think? Please leave a comment, and we
fuck that, bro. Yo, we're not done, bro. We're gonna talk about this off camera, yo. I'm heated now, bro. I can't believe your stance on this shit, bro. Yo, you got me hyped. Well, yeah, let's move on. We got like 15 minutes left. This fucking guy. Holy.
So moving on. The latest episode of the latest series by Kevin Smith, the He-Man Masters of the Universe Revelations. The cartoon dropped last Friday. Mm-hmm. And let's just say that it's only the first 5 episodes of this of the season. It also has Sarah Michelle Gellar in it. And let's just say that it's caused some controversy. The controversy being, and okay, for those of people who plan on watching He-Man Revelations, I'm going to give some spoilers. So, stop watching. Or if you just want to hear the controversy and don't care, here it comes. Controversy is a lot of He-Man, like the 80s cartoons, those fans are not so happy with Kevin Smith's rendition. Now, again, it's only the first half of the season. And they are kind of upset because He-Man isn't really in much of the first half. It's focused more on Teela. And let's just say that people are frustrated that Kevin Smith has spent the first 5 episodes focused on Teela, dealing with the loss of He-Man, and is becoming a hero in enough of herself. And they're like, if he wanted to do a She-Ra show, just do a She-Ra show. Don't fuck up our He-Man. Anyway, so that is the controversy. Kevin Smith responded to the trolls, as he tends to do in a very colorful way. And let's just say he told them to wait until watch the first full season before they pass judgment, and also stop being so sexist. Anyway, so I wanted to I know you two didn't watch it because you guys were not into the series, but I was interested to see what you think based off this description. Like, if you need more, feel free to let me know. But like, what do you think of this kind of backlash?
First off, Umar, I just got to correct you. I did watch some He-Man. I watched at least 10 seconds of the intro and then said, nah, I'm going to go back to watching Castlevania. I was like, literally, this is it. Okay. So I've been watching Castlevania, and I was like, and it's like my show that I watch when like eating lunch and stuff. And so I was like, He-Man just came out with big promo on Netflix. I was like, you know what, let me hit play. And I'm like, oh, that's a cool intro. Yeah. The music's kind of cool. Nah, I want Castlevania. I closed it, and that was it. That was my whole watch. But to your point as to the stuff, honestly, if I watch it and I was like, oh, the first 5 episodes so far are like this, like, oh, loss of He-Man. Obviously, we're gonna get He-Man because it's the show is named after him, so he's not dead.
Which is essentially what Kevin Smith said.
Yeah, like, I mean, first off, like, that's stupid. That's like watching Attack on Titan in like the 3rd episode or 4th episode, whatever one it is like the main character dies. You're like, he can't die. Even if it felt like it, but. Like, we just gonna have a new main character not even halfway through the first season? Doesn't make any sense. Honestly, like, I don't have the history to like know this stuff, but I would have honestly, like, what you're saying, what I'm hearing, I'm like, that sounds good. He's building up this female character. The character's probably never got enough shine. This character's going to be probably strong throughout the remaining show because it's getting some time to shine. And it's not like we're not going to get enough He-Man, because I'm sure we're going to get plenty of He-Man because the fucking show's about He-Man. So, and don't be sexist. Yeah. You know, like, she'd be like, He-Man. Me too. Just really pissed them off. It's just like, that's the title of the show. Oh, they'd be so pissed off, man. I mean, I would enjoy that. Just like dramatically.
He-Man, he's with her.
Another guy walks in, me too.
Yeah.
Find a ways to like just stick the statement in there to piss people off. Yep.
How about you, T?
I don't care. To be honest, I really don't. Like, this show is not for me, man. Like, when you brought that up, I was like, what controversy are you talking about? I don't know. I'm hoping this is going to be a short segment, because I'm like, I could give less of a fuck, to be honest. But it does remind me of like, have you seen the movie Coco?
Yeah.
The Pixar movie? Yeah. So it's about it. So it's named after the grandma, but she's only in it for like the last 5 minutes, and then she dies. And I'm like, oh, okay, all right. We're doing that. So yeah, hopefully He-Man doesn't go that route, but other than that, I don't care.
Okay,
I don't care.
So before we move on, we got some comments. So our homegirl Ron, this is from the Buffy thing. That sounds like a dysfunctional relationship, and an eye for an eye is not a healthy relationship at all. It's not love. Is
Absolutely.
No one on this one?
Umar.
Yeah, you alone on this one.
Yeah, you're a lone wolf, bro.
Yeah,
I'm fine with that. Okay, and then London Cream's like, Kevin Smith done goofed up. I was enjoying it, and then the memes from the He-Man Fallout has been delicious. I will completely agree. Those memes have been on point. I wish I could I had some like on memory right now, but like, yeah, so some of them were really good. Okay, so as Tactix wants, we're moving on. The next, the next topic is the Dune trailer. We got our second trailer for Dune. It was like 3.5 minutes long, which I was like, damn.
Yeah, it's a long trailer. I was like into it, and then I'm like, yo, how fucking long is this trailer? It's insane.
And ironically, they didn't reveal that much, what I'm actually really surprised about. Like, they did a really good job. Anyway, so I wanted to know, what did you guys think of the trailer? Tactics, let's start with you.
I mean, I enjoyed it. I agree. It didn't really reveal anything. I have no idea what this movie is about. Like, no context whatsoever. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But like, I
actually want to know what you thought. Like, what do you think it's about based off the
had a lot of great visuals. There's a little sprinkle of comedy in there with Jason Momoa, which I enjoyed. I like that there's going to be a nice little balance there. It looks like a compelling story, like based on what I remember from the first trailer and now this one. I'm intrigued. Am I going to enjoy it for what I've seen so far? I don't really know. This is not the typical movie that I normally gravitate to when they come out. So, I mean, like, and full disclosure, I haven't seen. You know what it reminds me of? Kind of. It was Harrison Ford, and then they made a remake with Ryan Gosling. What's that movie? Blade Runner. It kind of reminds. Okay, then that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, I kind of got that vibe a little bit. So yeah, but I never saw that movie. So
Does that mean it's gonna go under the radar though? Because that last movie just like went under the radar. Like everyone was super excited for it, and then it just
and then
felt like
yeah,
it
it
flopped.
did. Yeah, I think it did flop.
Yeah.
It kind of flopped, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I don't know, man. It was a cool trailer. I just don't know if this is something that I'm gonna really be into.
To be honest, I think you will be because there's a lot of spirituality in this, but we'll get to that in a second. Darcy?
Okay.
So I just skimmed the trailer while you guys were talking because I hadn't watched it yet.
I know that Pfizer it takes out a lot of time.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I someone from my future came through the past and messed me up. Anyways, you asked a question to Tactics about what do you think this movie's about, and I'm gonna from the first trailer and I was skimming the second one. I'm gonna say this feels like a King Arthur story in some kind of way, where it's like this person has to like achieve something and do something, and that defeats or either keeps the world the way that it needs to be or changes the world into what it needs to be or prevents something from happening. But like there's a King Arthur element with the main character and what the capabilities of this person has to be able to do and endure. So that's the kind of vibe I got, especially when I look at this picture here. It just like feels like King Arthur, like 3047, but yeah, that I agree with Tactics. Like, no idea what it's about. It looks cool, but I honestly have a big fear that it's gonna flop. And the basis because one, you just said it was the other director, but two, it's very artsy. And artsy can be good, but I also worry that like they'll achieve so much in the visual and they'll have the elements for a great story, but then it'll end up feeling rushed or moving the wrong direction at times and look amazing while doing it. And just skimming the second trailer, like I was just skimming it, but I was like, I'm getting this feeling that like it's gonna miss something that's tangible and it's going to be very like ethereal and big world and but I'm not gonna feel the stakes of something with the characters or not feel for them enough. But this main actor, he's fantastic, and I know he'll make me feel stuff even if the script can't do it, because he's probably the best actor in the bunch. And I'm saying that in a big way because we got some big, amazing actors.
Yeah.
We got some big and amazing actors, but he's unbelievably talented. Like this kid and the one from what was it, Netflix superhero show where they're like a bunch of orphans that they're like stolen when they're babies, something like that.
Umbrella Academy.
Umbrella Academy. That the kid who plays the main that one from the future. These two actors are like outstanding for their age, like just like Oscar level, like 40 years game, and like just came out the womb, like he like unbelievable talent. And so even like I think he'll elevate every scene he's in. I'm just worried that like the execution of the script and the story and the dialogue, it's just something in that area is just gonna like lack a bit, and I'm just gonna be like that looks cool.
Okay. All right. So I find both of your perceptions of not knowing the story to be actually very fascinating. And also, I am rather interested to see how it gets realized because we're definitely going to watch this movie together. So just a bit of context. Dune is based off of an incredibly well-known and very beloved sci-fi novel. And it came out in the 60s. It's like one of the pillars of the sci-fi genre in literature.
So stakes are high.
Yes, this has been adapted like 3 times, and like let's just say, put it this way, no one's done a good job because like the 80s movie, it had Sting, and it was kind of like a really out there sort of movie, but also the content and like it's a big book, so there's a lot in there and a lot happens, and all that is connected. It's like nothing is a throwaway. And some people, and I will agree, this is a apt comparison. This is like Lawrence of Arabia in space.
I don't know Lawrence Arabia. I know space, but I don't know the first part.
Okay. There's also a high spiritual aspect to this, and also a high level of destiny. But he is meant to be able to slowly see the future, and that's what he's trying to struggle with. And there's a lot that happens. Also, this movie is only, as I discovered, is only the first part of two, because this trailer made me think there's a lot of this movie that they're not showing, and that's like, it's a 3.5 minute trailer, but it turns out that they're doing the first half of the story in this, and I am really excited that they're breaking it up. The actors all seem perfectly casted to the characters, and Timothy Chalamet, perfect. Everyone seems to be great actors for the roles they're doing, especially Josh Brolin. I will say that Jason Momoa is a surprise casting for me, but I'm actually digging it because the whole point is him, Timothy Chalamet, and Jason Momoa's character are supposed to be best friends, and so I never really got that in previous iterations. They kind of were just like, there's the badass fighter and there's the kid that he's supposed to be best friends with, but they kind of tell you as opposed to show you. Jason Momoa, he can be friends with anybody. Like, I feel like he just be nice to anyone. You'll be like, yeah, I get you. So yeah, I'm personally excited as fuck for this movie, and yeah, I found this trailer to be beautiful and brilliant, and I just can't wait.
The fact that they're splitting up into multiple movies gives it a nudge in the right direction, because, like, honestly, a lot of book adaptations, like, I mean, obviously a lot of movies come from books, but like a lot of book adaptations fail because of the inability to capture enough, right? The creative decisions to go too far the wrong way, and so you tend to have to break it up, especially anything that's like has a lot of world building, because clearly has a lot of world building. I don't know anything about the world, and I just from the visual alone, I'm like, yeah, we're gonna spend a lot of time learning the visuals of this world.
A part of me actually, like, I'm most excited for is, oddly enough, to watch Tactix, your view of this film, because you're not a sci-fi guy, and this does have a strong political aspect and also a strong, I wouldn't say religious, more spiritual aspect. And I kind of want to see how it relates to you from like putting them all together in a sci-fi twist.
Well, you can miss me with all that political stuff, but I'm on board for the spiritual, 100%.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Star Wars, like the prequels with their let's have these like super long like political conversations. Man, here's the thing. Every time I watch, I think at this point I may have now finally watched the prequels in their entirety. But when I was a kid, I honestly try to watch them like 8 times. Every time I go over to my cousin's house, oh, let's put on Star Wars. Yeah, let's put on Star Wars. Oh yeah, woo 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 woo. Right, lightsabers. Okay. They get into the political debates every time I fall asleep, man. That guy hated me. I was sleeping every time. I wake up, oh, lightsaber. And then I wake up for Samuel L. Jackson, like in that like circular pit fighting, and I'm like, how did we get here?
All right, so moving on. Another trailer dropped this week as well. The Dexter trailer for the new I guess it's a sequel series, because it's like him after the end of the last series. So that trailer dropped, and I gotta say, I wasn't really for them making a like. Granted, I was not happy with Dexter's final season, and especially the ending.
Hey, I was all right with the season. That ass episode though, like I was all right with it until the very moment where you're like, wait, what? What?
That was some straight up bullshit. So I enjoyed the trailer. Clearly they're trying to keep things under wraps, so they're not giving too much away. But it was an interesting sort of. He's focusing exclusively on being Dexter and ignoring the Dark Passenger. Okay, I'm glad that it's not him just sitting in a room every day after like going as a logger. I will say this trailer has piqued my interest. What do you guys think? Darcy?
Yo, I'm skimming this right now.
How about with you?
This
How about
man's
with you, Tactix?
sleeping on these trailers.
Yo, Tigers, you take it.
Oh shit, you don't want me to take it, bro. And you know why? I have not
didn't
seen
watch
a
that.
single episode of Dexter ever. I've never watched Dexter. So I was watching the trailer. I was like, this looks interesting. Don't know what's going on, but cool.
Oh,
Yeah, man.
Okay,
Yeah.
so first off, I just
Surprise, motherfuckers! I just know that part.
fair actually. I forgot that was from Dexter.
Yeah.
So first off, I just got done skimming it because skimming it can be as long and as short as you want it to be. And so yeah, I'm with you on everything. Yeah, bro, I went like 5 seconds, 15 seconds, 45 seconds, and last 1 minute. Let's go. So, I like what you're saying.
London Cream.
Umar.
Now that you what? Okay, sorry. I need to calm down. Darcy, please go.
Okay, first off, okay, too many things. I agree with what you're saying about how this trailer sets up to like look interesting, and he's dealing with a dark passenger. I saw a clip there. It looked like he was, cooking eggs and struggling to every time he has a knife or anything like that, the struggle is real. That's dope. And I just want him to see him do more. But yeah, it's hard to say where it's gonna go. Now, sliding the other thing, Tactix. This show is fantastic, minus the latter end of it, right? This actually was finishing around the same time as Breaking Bad because Breaking Bad's ending got extended, right? And so it was really interesting to see the ending of this and Breaking Bad because this show was like, okay, this is going to end well, and then it's like, this is not end well. And the Breaking Bad ended like perfectly, and you're like, oh, thank God. Tactics. Are you into like really intense cat and mouse kind of chase type stuff mixed with a lot of gore?
A disturbing psychological.
Yeah.
toll.
So okay, I'm lying. I did end up watching one episode with an ex-girlfriend, and like she, kind of like you, there, she just kept falling asleep. So like we tried over and over again to keep watching it, and she was just like comatose, bro. So I'm just like, it's
I
like,
want to see like it'd be like one of the ones where like people are butt naked on the table and it's just like
yeah, bro. So,
it's like how do you sleep through that? How do you
yeah,
sleep through this?
so
It's
I,
intense.
bro, she could sleep through anything, man. So, and at the time, I was just kind of like, I'm like, well, we could either like sit here, she gets comfortable, and then passes out, or we could kind of, do like the forbidden dance and take that opportunity. So it just got to that point where I was like, gotta go with the latter. So
I like how like your night got into a choice of should I watch Dexter or should I? It's like of
you
course
always
one's
choose
gonna
booty,
win.
bro. You always choose the booty, bro. So I said to myself for
You had
years
no
I was gonna
chance.
circle back. Yeah, I was gonna circle back to it, but I just never got around to it. But yeah, to answer your question, Darcy, yes, I do like cat and mouse type stuff with.
There's a couple of really amazing seasons in this. First season is great. I forget which season it is that has the gentleman who's going to return.
Is it 3 or 4?
Yeah.
Almost.
What's his name though? He's like
John
a nice
Lithgow?
jaw. What's that?
John Lithgow.
Yeah. Oh my God, so good. And even the one where I don't want to spoil it, but his counterpart, the one that's. Oh, I'm trying not to spoil it. How do I say this? The villain that he has that he fights off against, who's very similar to him. Wow, Umar, how you not picking up on this?
I'm sorry. Wasn't that in the?
Let me turn my headphones down.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
His
Right.
brother, you fool.
Those
I
in the
put him
first-
back on.
His brother, you fool.
Yeah,
Okay, so
you're
that
right.
clearly means you have your speakers on. Tell you, bro, turn your speakers on. I can hear myself on the mic. Anyways, yeah.
All
So, anyways, there's
Okay.
some good stuff in here. There's some weak stuff as well. But yeah.
All right. So moving on to our final topic of the evening, Scarlett Johansson has been making some big waves. on the headlines lately.
Pew, pew, pew.
Yeah. So as everyone knows, Black Widow got released in theaters, but also was available on Disney Plus at the same time.
Great
So
for
that
us, not great for her.
Yes. So she, as of this week, has started legal proceedings to sue Marvel for her, I think, like her royalties for the box office release. And Marvel is like, so her argument is that they broke their contract by releasing them both at the same time, and therefore she's not getting a portion of the profits. I believe that's the right situation. Marvel has decided to respond by saying she is being very selfish and is not taking into account the devastating effects of the pandemic. I feel if you have to go to that length about a suit against them, you definitely violated some contract. So, but that's my own personal opinion. What do you guys think? Darcy, how about we start with you?
So her $50 million whatever amount that's coming from, I'm not sure if it stipulates something like if they make a certain amount, she'll make money up to 50 million. It's probably what it is. It's probably capped at like she has a percentage of gross or a percentage of net, probably gross though, sales on the box office, and it caps at 50 million. Because it wouldn't make sense. It would just be like, when the movie releases in theaters, we'll give you 50 million. Like, that doesn't make any sense, right? Like, you have to make a certain amount of money. So they're probably saying, like, whatever that percentage is, you know, if it hits like 100 billion or whatever, you know, 100 billion, that's crazy. But anyways, then if it hits like $1 billion, then, you know, she probably would have stopped making money at a certain point before then. What her argument really is, though, is that because they release it in theaters and online, her contract clearly, when her contract was signed years ago, because they were filming it and they signed it before they filmed it, because it didn't take into account an online streaming service, she doesn't get to partake in any of the revenue. So if they make, like, because of this film, right, in box office, like let's say they bring in 400 million, right, because of the reduced amount, and they make a bunch of money because of people signing up to Disney Plus and paying directly in there. So one, they make money from the signups, and two, they make money from the direct payment for early access to the film, right? She's not getting her percentage does not account for the paying of the early access, and doesn't account for the growth during that period of time for accounts that sign up. And you could track that. You could track how many people signed up and then purchased the early access, and you could figure out the growth to Disney Plus that she brought. So what her argument is that all of that money sabotages, one, people going to the box office, because I should have given a delayed amount so she could make more money, or two, but she couldn't do this because she wouldn't be able to renegotiate her contract, is that like that money from the online accounted towards the amount of money that she's supposed to get. So arguably her 50 million could look like 50 grand, right? Yeah. Like, and so I agree, you know, like at the end of the day, this is the business side of things. Right. And as much as we might feel this and we might feel that, we don't know what Bugatti she had on pre-order. So like, you got to respect her. Like, this is the business deal. Plus she's setting a precedent for other women, you know, to make sure they're not getting screwed over as well. And so if Marvel and Disney wanted it to be favorable to the situation for her contract, they would have come back and just said, hey, we're going to give you either we're going to take the online sales and we're going to count that towards your thing, or we're going to give you like a small percentage of that. It wouldn't count the same way, but we'll give you a piece of that pie. But they didn't. So, yeah, I think that they screwed up and they put themselves in a situation where she had to do this.
T.
This nigga said Bugatti on pre-order. Wow. Oh my god, bro! Oh shit, that was good. That was good. But facts though. But facts, yo. Yeah, I mean, I can't really speak to what Darcy said in regards to the business side of things, but as far as a continuing working relationship, it's pretty much soiled at this point, right? Which is unfortunate because I feel like we were on like a good, trajectory in terms of how well Black Widow did and the potential for her to show up in future iterations, or if they were even going to try and continue to extend the Black Widow franchise further, which is unfortunate. And apparently, and I mean, I guess rightfully so, I heard Kevin Feige is super pissed about this situation. So I'm wondering if that now like taints his relationship with Disney, or is it kind of just like, oh, I'm just,
He is bulletproof at Disney. Like he has literally made them so much money. They're like, we're not gonna lose him.
So question
no,
on that, though.
yeah.
Question though,
go ahead.
is he pissed with Scarlett Johansson, or because I feel like
he's siding with her.
Yeah,
he's siding with her.
I believe,
yeah, that's what I thought. That's what I thought, because my feeling when I read the article that I read, it sounded like Disney took advantage of the contract she signed with Marvel, right? Because they own the contract at the end of the day. And so Disney Plus took advantage under Disney's guise, and they didn't honor. And that would make sense. If Kevin Feige is siding with her, that makes total sense, because he's built this thing, and they should have found a way to account the Disney Plus sales towards her piece of the pie, right? Or done something where like, we're just going to give you a lump sum, right? We're going to take like of your 50 million, we're going to top up if you don't meet the 50 million, right? So, you made your box office sales count for 10, we'll top it to 20, right? Like something to that effect. So that way it's like good business. Now, I like, though it might be soiled, it doesn't mean that it's over, because some of this will just be the lawyers and whatnot and whatever. So there's always a level of like, if she comes back, the next contract is going to be tight.
Ironclad, bro.
Yeah, like honestly, like, going back to your point, Tactix, like I originally when I heard this, I'm like, well, that's one way to end your franchise with Disney. But then, like when I actually read what was going on, I'm like, actually, she's being really fair. And also she's setting a precedent for all other future actors, because we know that this is going to get further and further into streaming and less box office, especially if COVID, if we got like a fourth wave. Yeah. But also the fact that she's got Feige on her side.
Yeah,
but he's one of those bosses that takes care of his employees. You know what I'm saying? So like, and he's always shown that kind of respect through the course of this whole Marvel stint, right? So I'm not surprised that he's backing her right now.
Yeah,
you look like you reacted when he said he takes care of his employees, and you're like,
The only thing I'm reacting to that statement is, yes, he does take care, but also at the same time, he also creates difficult working scenarios because he is very exacting. Look at Thor. Natalie Portman never wanted to come back because of how bad she was treated.
But was that because of the director more than anything? Because the director was so
the studio. Well, there was that for the second one, but even even Idris Elba hated working on Thor and Thor 2. He was happy with Thor 3 because things were a lot looser, because the studios and also Feige was part of the studios. They wanted things done a certain way, and they were very, very clear on scheduling, and no matter what that did to other people's careers.
I see. Yeah, and it was like a necessary evil.
He was directly involved in that.
He's the president. Ultimately it comes to him.
Yeah. No, I get it, and also it sucks at the same time. Like, it was a necessary evil at the beginning of the franchise, exactly. And at the same time, it's like, because you don't want people to get too loose with it when you're trying to build to a bigger vision, and a lot of these directors will be like, oh, but let's just do it this way, and then all the movies feel like disconnected and incorrect.
But going back to what Tactix was saying, like, Feige is the reason Natalie Portman came back, so like, he knows how to handle stuff.
Yeah. And I think to that point too, I think, if he is going to be a little bit of a stickler when it comes to certain things, I mean, you have to keep in mind that part of this is his vision, right? And so if he has, and I mean, right, like, he's done a great job in terms of the vision, right? So it's like sometimes he's got to be a little bit of a hard ass to get people on board with his ultimate vision in terms of what he sees for this this franchise, right? And so sometimes, you're gonna have people bumping heads in that regard, or not kind of seeing the initial or the end result. What's that?
He rolled over people, but I see what you're saying. Like it's like if it's a business, if it's like especially the formative years of like something that you have a big vision for, like no, I hear you.
You gotta see the long game,
You a lot of the greats have always had to do that because, like Steve Jobs, Apple, known for being a dick, right? But then achieved things like, let me put it this way, okay? He technologically always pushed things where people said was not possible, but was the thing that people really needed and wanted, right? When the first Apple Macintosh came out, the people were like, "Oh, you can't put color on the screen and have a fully graphical interface. No, you got to type everything with words." And he proved otherwise, right? When the iPhone dropped, people were like, "No, you can't have a touchscreen full color with all-day battery. That's impossible." And you pushed it. But the thing is, you only can do that by pushing through everybody who believes it's not possible to achieve that and doesn't see the vision. And when it takes like a movie set full of people, which is thousands of people, it's going to take pushing through a lot of people who are going to be pushing the other direction because you have 10,000 people working on the film. You have to be exacting, otherwise it's going too many cooks in the kitchen. It's going to go the wrong way.
Yeah, and there's a right way and a wrong way to do it. Like, I mean, the right way I think is kind of more so along the lines of what Kevin Feige is doing, and then using the example of like the Fast and the Furious franchise and like Vin Diesel and The Rock and their feud. And apparently it was because Vin Diesel was trying to take that same approach and like push his actors, primarily Dwayne The Rock Johnson, to the edge to get him to a certain point, and it just ended up blowing up in his face because now The Rock doesn't want to come back for any future franchises, right? So
yeah. And just saying to our homegirl Ron, she was saying, "Good for Scarlett for standing for your hard-earned work."
Yeah, I agree.
100%.
And all the actors who will be taken advantage of if this doesn't get exacted in the right direction.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that's a perfect stop for our podcast for today.
Cool. So that's how we're ending it.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Cool.
We have to do something better. We have to come up.
It's all good. It's all good. All right. Well, this has been another edition of the Geeky Bros Podcast. I'm your boy Tactix.
Yo, it's just Darcy here.
Umar, you don't get to say bye. I can't believe I'm still heated about this argument, bro. Nah, we're ending it now. We're ending it, bro.